All right, welcome to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wiltz, your host for today, joined, I think, by Craig Miles. Greg, you with us? No, he's not. Okay, well, that's all right. So we'll just we'll keep going, and we're live here on WYSL. So, of course, if you, listener, want to participate in the show today, give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. And if we... we'll see if we can get Craig back in a few minutes, because I know y'all have gotten used to listening to him on Wednesdays now, and I happen to be able to do Wednesdays again, so I might jump in and co-host here every once in a while, or sub in if Craig's not able to make it. And but yeah, no, we're shout out down the line to our friends listening over at WACK out in Newark, and of course our friends listening online. Free Solution Facebook page, Free Solution YouTube channel, the Kevin Wilson pages, wherever you're listening today. Thank you for joining us here. And got a few topics to talk about today. We got the redistricting process, a little bit more news coming out of that. We'll talk about some New York State budget issues, maybe, if we get to it. And of course, some national budget issues too, because the Biden administration is proposing another $5.8 trillion in spending, just an absolute absurd amount of spending, because that's what happens, which is hilarious, because it's like, oh yeah, we're cutting spending from last year when we had like the most expensive year in history. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit too if we get to it. But all right, do we have Craig back? Craig, you with us? Craig,
can you hear me?
Oh, there you are.
There I am. My dulcet tones on WYSL once again. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, so fine. This is the first show we've done together, so we've listened to you for a while. I'm sure you've caught a few of my shows too, so it's great to be able to do this show with you for once.
Yeah, no, it's excited to be. I'm excited to be doing a co-hosting gig here. It's nice. Now it's not just me talking to myself in front of my bookcase. Now I can have a discussion, and we can both talk in front of our bookcases.
Exactly. Well, we got both bookcases here, and flags and whatnot too, of course. So for those listening online, I have a don't tread on anyone flag, big bookcase behind me and whatnot. And Craig's got a similar setup. I know what.
76 flag.
76. There you go.
1776, the birth of our nation.
Right on. Love it. So anyway, we're going to talk about redistricting today, because I know you had thoughts on that too, because there's been a couple cases come out with that. There's the redistricting thing that came out on last Thursday, I believe it was, that said that they gerrymandered is unconstitutional, and then something came out this week saying that they could move forward with the districts as is. This week is the week to turn in petitions if you're one of the main parties. So they're turning them in under the old districts, because the new ones ain't out yet, and then we may get different districts for the primary, even though the signatures collected are for the old districts. So it's a mess.
Of course it's a mess, and it's a mess on purpose, because they don't actually care whether anyone is able to get on the ballot. They care that they're able to get on the ballot, and they know no matter, and I say they, I always use they, I mean the people that are writing these rules. They don't care. Democrats and Republicans, they're going to be on the ballot. They don't care about ballot access. They don't care about the redistricting, honestly. They went in there and they negotiated all those things just like they always do. And it was horse trading, and they got to pick their districts, and the Democrats, they rule the state. The Republicans say, oh, I can't do anything. The Democrats rule the state. And there we go. That's where we've been for
a handful of safe districts, and that's fine. All right. Well, sorry for the people who lost in this, but we're good in these handful of districts. We can have our tiny little molehill of power here and be content, right? And then fundraise off of the outrage of being in the minority.
Yes. We're gonna fight. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it different. Nick Langworthy. Yeah. We're gonna beat Queen Kathy. Okay, how? You have 3-1 Republican or Democrats to Republican. How are you gonna do that? Well, we're gonna beat her. Okay, I know you said that, but how? Well, just give me money.
Yeah, just kind of check. We're gonna make it work. It's fine.
Don't ask. You want the Democrats to win? It's like, have they ever lost?
Not in a couple decades.
No, not at all. And the interesting thing, I wasn't surprised at all. See, this always happens to me. I get excited because I hear, oh, they ruled, like the court made a decision. This is awesome. Democracy and federalism and the Constitution, and these things still work. And then the next day, there's always a stay. Oh, well, the appellate court in Rochester issued a stay. And there's always a stay. It was with the masks first, back with the mask mandates for the kids, and now for this thing. And I know people roll their eyes when I'm like, oh, it's all part of the same. It is. Like if you don't get the right ruling, then I'll just issue a stay and I'll do what I want anyway.
Yeah, right. And that's what you got. You can't get like too excited about these rulings, right? Because you're like, all right, this is temporary. It's going to be challenged. It got appealed immediately when they said when the first ruling happened about it being unconstitutional. Again, in court again, saying, well, we're going to move ahead with it as is. There's going to be another case, I think, next Thursday to see. And then even if this goes through, right, like what's going to have to happen is in either the state legislature, most likely the state legislature, which is controlled by Democrats, or the Independent Redistricting Commission are going to need to draw up a new map. Even if it did go through, okay, so the same people need to draw a new, better map that this time like follows the rules just a teensy tiny bit more closely, and then it'll get through. Just make it look a little bit better. You weren't trying hard enough.
That's just honestly, that's how I feel about this stuff. That's how I feel about all this stuff. Is the changes that they actually mandate or they actually fight over are negligible. They still get what they want. And I don't know who they're trying to fool because everyone knows the system's broken. I mean, this goes to the Kathy deal. She's still gonna go and run for governor, and there's still gonna be people vote for her as they complain about how much money that she gave the bills. And I'm like, why do you continue to do this?
Well, goodness, it didn't stop Governor Cuomo. My goodness, how many times has he made deals? They're like, that doesn't smell right at all, and not just like doesn't smell like, hey, look, this is pretty open corruption here. What's going on?
Not only doesn't it smell right, it doesn't look right, it doesn't sound right, and nobody seems to care.
In there. Yeah, that's it. Well, and then the Democrats, they do the same thing. The Republicans, well, you want the Republicans to win? Well, they're not going to win. Like, oh, well, you're going to vote for a third party then? No, you got to vote. So they browbeat their party members too, and to scaring them away from voting for independent candidates because, well, we can't let the Republicans win. It's like letting Donald Trump rule New York. However they're going to scare people, right?
So I have a story about that actually. I volunteer maintaining trails in the Adirondacks, and yeah, I enjoy it. It's actually through like this convoluted mess of the DEC and the Adirondack Mountain Club, which is a private public partnership and all that stuff, and it's a mess. And unsurprisingly, they have difficulty finding volunteers because there's a lot of nonsensical red tape. I can't just go out and like cut a tree down and like maintain a trail. I have to issue reports and I have to tell the guy when I'm going to go out there and all of these things. And they're like, I don't know why we can't get volunteers. It's like, because you're trying to get crunchy people to go and like dig holes in dirt and cut down trees, but now you want them to make like 13 stacks of paperwork and a paper trail. No, just let them go and volunteer. But that's not even the point. It was the Donald Trump thing that you mentioned. I was out maintaining a trail and there was this couple that I met. They were probably in their 50s or so. And we got talking back and forth, and I kind of gave them that spiel because they were complaining about the trail. They're like, how can we fix this? It's kind of in rough shape. And I'm like, well, how you fix that is you go to the guy and you request the thing, and then it goes to a desk, and then it dies there, and then next year you do the same thing, and then the trail doesn't get fixed. And the lady, she came back with, well, do you think that's because President Trump he cut funding? And I'm like, yes, exactly. Goodness. Yep. Yeah, he's the one that stopped the trail maintenance in the Adirondacks. That was number one on his list. He's responsible for the bureaucracy in New York State. It's all him. That we got him, fellas. I'm so it baffles me. I'm like, yes, yeah, he's the one. I just explained to you how it's all broken, but yeah, it's because he cut funds somewhere once.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's tough to get through to some of those folks who are just, like they're so partisan. Like, well, yeah, all we got to do is stop the Republicans. All we got to do is stop the Democrats. No, let's talk about actual solutions here. Let's talk about like, hey, maybe like the process for maintaining trails needs to be streamlined, and the volunteers don't need to get bogged down in paperwork. Like, just make it a simple, request to report, like a photo and a paragraph type of thing, if you're gonna like document it.
Yep.
And that seems pretty easy, right?
Yes, make it easy. And I understand. I kind of get where they're coming from. It's state agencies, so they got to cover their back. They got to have a paper trail. If someone gets hurt out there, they don't want a lawsuit. But now, okay, cool. Now you don't get volunteers either.
Right. And I don't like that those trails need to be maintained. A lot of people love them. They get loved, a bit too much sometimes, right? And so, okay, so you got to have a network of volunteers to make sure that things are staying on track up there. But if you want to value these resources, you got to make it easy as possible for folks to be able to do their thing and take care and do good where they can. There's so many spaces where government is the barrier to people doing good and helping their communities. All right, so it sounds like we're up for a break. Thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. You got me, Kevin Wilson, and Craig Miles in today on A Free Solution. Give us a call if you want to participate in the show, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. Talk to you soon.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Oh, those injury attorney ads.
Hurt on your couch? Call 555-OUCH.
It's kind of cute watching that injury attorney buying breakfast for a crash test dummy, but while fun is fun, there's nothing amusing about getting your life back together after a personal injury or a motorcycle accident, or when you need defense for a DWI charge. Christopher Johnson takes your case seriously, and you'll feel like you're his only client because when you meet with him, your case gets 100% of his attention. So instead of cute singing jingles and magic phone numbers,
fall out of a tree? Call 33333.
Write this number down and keep it with you. 585-415-3803. 415-3803. After all, Christopher Johnson knows you're no dummy. Get individual attention and integrity, experience, and expertise. Put the power of one on your legal team. 415-3803. Stay safe, be healthy, drive sober. Christopher Johnson Attorney, personal injury, car or motorcycle accidents, DWI defense.
As a veteran of the United States military, I can finally get the opportunity to enjoy special events, things that we couldn't afford, thanks to VetTix. Every empty seat at a concert, a game, or a play is a missed opportunity to say thanks to a veteran and service member. We can give our veterans a special event where they too can create their own cherished memories. Visit vettix.org. Find out how you can make a difference in a veteran's life.
Only available in the WISL store at WISL1040.com. Official top quality tees, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting the colorful WISL logo or the already famous Mount Worstmore line of merch depicting Mount Rushmore style are for worst presidents. Of course, you know who is front and center up on that mountain. WISL official items make perfect gifts, or they're a great way for you to make a personal statement. Locally produced and sold only in the WISL store at WISL1040.com.
A free solution.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host today, joined by Craig Miles. on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, live here on WYSL. Give us a call again if you want to participate in the show, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. We were talking about the redistricting process. We were talking about, well, some of the volunteer work that you're doing up in the Adirondacks and the ways in which the state gets in the way. And I do want to mention, too, that petitioning season for the independent nominating petitions is coming up soon as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how the redistricting process impacts those folks if they come to a decision on those districts. It's going to impact the ability to collect signatures if you're, say, a libertarian running an independent nominating petition drive in the next few weeks. Craig, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, isn't that convenient? Isn't that just convenient that all of these decisions can take as long as they want, and all of these messes they can just get cleaned up whenever, because I'm on the ballot already, and those third parties, well, it's not really my problem if they can't figure out how to get on the ballot.
They're not going to win anyway. Who cares about them?
Yeah. And this brings up a point that I hated from when Larry got us ballot access. And I say us, I mean the Libertarians. The Libertarian Party was not a real thing according to New York State. Larry got the votes that he needed, and he went through all the nonsense. We got 150 Libertarians elected the next year to office, and the state said, no, I don't like that. And then they said, we're going to pass this thing in the budget. We're going to get them off. They're not a thing anymore. The thing that bothered me the most about this is when we first got ballot access, where you're able to go and register at your post office or any of those places that carry the voter registration forms. It took them a year and more to update those forms. And I think at least a year to update the online to make sure that Libertarian was a choice. And people complained to them, and they said, it takes a lot of time. It's really hard. The bureaucracy, it's so difficult. And then when we weren't a party anymore, the next day, I kid you not, the next day, we were off of the website to be registered as a Libertarian. You couldn't, not in New York. Yeah.
No way.
As
now you can still register as a Libertarian. You just got to write it in, and if you spell it wrong or they just can't read your handwriting right, they might categorize you as something else. It's something prior to ballot access that Larry's campaign got in 2018 would be a thing all the time. They would just write in the wrong party designation, put people as the Liberal Party or whatever, and it would be a chore to make sure that consistently across the state these registrations are being collected under the same party designation.
Yeah, and so you bring up another point. So what really upset me was like, it takes so long. We're so hard. It's so hard to do. And then all of a sudden, when it was in their favor, it's like, we found out a way to make it work really quick. And the point that you bring up about you can just write it in. That's what they'll say. We didn't take the choice away. You can still write it in. Okay, let everybody write what they want in. Why you got to put Republican and Democrat on there?
Well, because they're the ones who control the offices that make the forms, Craig.
But my point is all of these arguments are nonsensical. It's like, okay, well, if it's not such a big deal to put your name on there, don't put yours on there. I'll be the grass party. I'll be the whatever party.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you get in there and you're trying to register and you don't remember, how to spell Democrat, I don't know, like you could just be a blank then.
Yeah. Why don't we get rid of the parties? I just registered to vote. Why do we got to have the parties?
Yeah, that's a fair point. Just because of the primary process, right? That's like the whole thing. And we have our closed primaries here in New York State. So, and that's why people like in Rochester, it's so funny because like that's where the election actually happens. The general election doesn't even matter in this area. There's hardly ever competing candidates. It's the primary. Everyone's like, register Democrat because otherwise, like, you don't have any choice over mayor or city council, all that stuff. So, one party system here and increasingly in other areas too.
And you actually see this happen where people will get all gung ho and they'll register third party and say, I'm third party now. And then they realize when it comes to the presidential election, here in New York State, you can't vote for your guy in the presidential election. So then they re-register as the whatever to vote for their guy, and now we lose them again.
Yeah, that's what happens. People are always switching registrations back and forth, and so now because of that ballot access being lost too, right? Again, it's going to be a much more massive signature lift for any independent party. So it's not just libertarians like the Greens. It's happened to we'll see what the Forward Party's going to do. They weren't a party before, but they're trying to get on the ballot this year. Same with the Unite Party. That's one of the ones that Larry is looking to get on the ballot with, and so it's going to be a massive lift. And again, I say this on the show all the time. If you've never like participated in one of those like signature drives, it's huge. It's arduous. You can collect signatures from any registered voter that hasn't already signed a petition, but there's going to be 45,000 that need to happen this year. I think is that, did I get the number right? 45,000. That's
yes, I believe so. I believe it's 45, and then 50 would be safe, and then 70 is good because they're going to challenge everything, and they got time to pay a bunch of people to pick through these and be like, oh, you didn't cross the T on this one guy's signature, so that means he didn't actually support Larry Sharp. So now your entire page of petitions is garbage.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, if you sign it just in a little bit of a funny way, they're like, well, actually, that's not really a real voter. How are we supposed to tell that that's what that person's name is? So we'll cross out this name, or, well, you didn't sign it right on the bottom, whatever. Whole sheet out, 10 signatures gone. You just do that, a couple hundred times with people who have the resources to do it. Suddenly, again, you're falling short. That's why the 70 numbers is probably closer to what I'm sure the party wants. When back in 2018, when we had to collect 15,000, our goal was to collect closer to 40.
Yeah. And you mentioned the it sounds like we're exaggerating here, like you and I. And I want to make it painfully clear because this I didn't understand this either. We have this impression that anyone, if they just want to, if they just have a vision, anyone can run for office. They can get their name out there. They can, and right at step one, the most basic part of it, the getting your name on the ballot, is an impossible task. When I was cross-endorsing, I was here in the Libertarian Party. I was a county contact. When I was trying to get one of the Republicans in the town cross-endorsed for the Libertarian Party, he started this time of the year or sooner. The deadline was sometime in August, and we didn't get him approved to be on the ballot as a libertarian until the deadline in August, because there was always, oh, there's an issue with this. Oh, there's an issue with that. Oh, you got to change this. This is from the Board of Elections that I'm talking. The Board of Elections is nothing more than a barrier placed there to make sure the right people get elected or to get a chance on the ballot.
It does feel that way a lot of times. Although I'll say the folks in Monroe County were very nice when I had to turn in the signatures for my campaign. So I'll give them that. They were relatively good in 2020. Now, again, I still resent the state as a whole for taking away the ballot access, but they were helpful in making sure that everything was sent in right. But still, you're right though. That barrier to entry, right? Like it should be fairly easy to get on the ballot, and having to collect that many signatures, really at any level of office, because it's still a substantial number of signatures. From U.S. Senate all the way down to like state assembly, and it either requires like a lot of your personal time, and it's probably not even possible to do on personal time at the state level, but assembly level maybe a lot of money to go and pay people to collect signatures, or a massive volunteer network. So really, you got to get organized. Like it's going to take a lot of organization, a lot of work to overcome the advantages that the two-party systems have to start making some changes. All right, thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution with me, Kevin Wilson, and Craig Miles. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. Give us a call if you want to participate in the show, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. We'll be back in just a few.
Celebrating 35 years.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll be looking at some rain developing, a steady rain overnight. Temperatures in the upper 40s on Thursday. Rain likely at times in the morning, even in the afternoon. Could be a half an inch of rain, a bit more east, a bit less to the west. We'll plan on a wet day Thursday in the 50s. A couple of showers Friday, a bit cooler. Temperatures near 50. I'm Rich Canilia, WYSL.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Forget the fluff and silly stuff. Get the facts right now. Only on News 1040 AM.
Hello, WYSL listeners. This is Vinny Dallo, financial advisor with Capin Financial. Since it's tax season, many of you are focusing on your personal financial situation. Well, let me ask you, how's it going? Are your finances where you want them to be? Do you wish you knew how to make improvements, how to be more tax efficient, or how to even just get ahead? Hey, there's no need to wish. At Capin Financial, our process begins with educating our clients on all areas of financial planning. Find us online at capinfinancial.com or call today, 585-248-6769.
Vinny Dallo is a financial advisor offering investment advisory and services through Eagle Strategies LLC, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. Capin Financial, its employees, nor Nylife Securities LLC or its representatives or affiliates provide tax, legal, and accounting advice. Please consult your own tax, legal, or accounting professional before making any decisions.
It takes everyone, both locally and globally, to adjust and improve the conditions of climate change. Peter Boyd headlines GCC's 2022 Humphrey Symposium on Leadership and Community Life, Thursday, April 21st at 9 a.m. in the Richard C. Call Arena. A panel moderated by Dr. Benjamin Holton, the Ronald P. Lynch Dean of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences at Cornell University, will present after Boyd's message. Lunch is included. Registration online at gccfoundationinc.org/Humphrey or call 585-345-6809.
Looking for something meaningful to do? As a Camp Good Days volunteer, you'll work with children and adults who will inspire you. Just listen to what one volunteer says about her experience.
It's unlike any other thing that I've ever experienced in my life. I won the lottery 10 times fold. My husband and I plan all year on what we're going to do for these kids.
Learn more about many volunteer opportunities at Camp Good Days and special times on the web at campgooddays.org.
Flower City Collision in Henrietta is your hometown body shop, trusted by numerous corporate fleets and properly insured and registered in New York. Flower City Collision specializes in working with insurance companies on your behalf. Having built a culture where they respect the customer and their employees as well, Flower City Collision has assembled the best collision team in the Rochester area. If you need repair, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta, and he will work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure you get the repair you need done right.
The state of New York just received hundreds of millions of dollars from the Seneca Nation. The additional funding gave Governor Hochul a great opportunity to help repair our roads, build hospitals, fix our bridges, and support our schools. What did she do instead? She gave away hundreds of millions of dollars to build a football stadium for the NFL. We're football fans, but with skyrocketing inflation and stretched budgets, handouts for the NFL, which makes billions of dollars in profit every year, is the wrong way to use this money. There's also a serious conflict of interest for Governor Hochul. The governor's husband serves as a senior executive for a company that stands to make millions of dollars selling concessions in the new stadium. This is just the latest chapter in the state of New York's long history of misusing public funds. The NFL gets a new stadium. New Yorkers pay the price. Governor Hochul, New York deserves better. Paid for by the Seneca Nation.
A free solution.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host today, joined by Craig Miles, and we're live here at WYSL until 1 p.m. Give us a call if you want to participate in the show, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. And, of course, shout out online to our friends listening over at WACK out in New York and our friends listening online, the Free Solution Facebook page, Free Solution YouTube channel, the group, the Kevin Wilson page, wherever you're listening today. Thank you so much for being here. And so, Craig, where do we want to go from here? It's
Good question. Good question. I've been asking myself that for years. And most people's answers to that is out of New York State. That's where I want to go from here.
Yeah, no, a lot of folks are still taking off. Somehow Governor Hochul hasn't stemmed that tide. Yeah,
that's strange. I thought once she gave $580 million to the Bills and stole it from the Seneca Nation and just told everyone how to live their lives, I would expect that people would stay here and deal with that.
That's fascinating. I know some of you might not hear this part in the broadcast, but the Seneca Nation was playing ads during this show. You know, it's just part of the station package, but they're bringing up some of those points about all that money going to the Bills. Again, I love Bills. I got Bills stuff on the bookshelf behind me. But yeah, I don't like that Governor Hochul is just saying like, oh, well, it's basically paid for because we had this payment that we wanted to get from the Seneca Nation, and they froze their bank accounts, which is pretty wild. It ended up disrupting a few things for them, as I understood it. Again, go ahead.
Yeah, I talked about this last week about the Seneca Nation and how this is old hat for Indian nations across the entire country. They have been told time and time again by governments, local, state, and national. This is good. We're good. We're all good. This is what we're doing. We signed a treaty about it. We're all in agreement. We're good. And then all of a sudden, it changes. And now you owe me whatever it was, 480 million, I think, whatever the number was that she got from the Senecas. Now you owe me that, and I'm going to give it to the sports stadium. Named after a guy, Bill Cody, who is in westerns, which don't depict natives necessarely in the best way. It's nonsensical how the government has continuously crapped on these folks for centuries and continues to do it with a straight face.
Yeah. And I'll admit I don't know as much about like the details of the Seneca deal because as I understood it, like they had the position that they didn't need to make this payment quite yet, that they're still like in a period where they weren't paying taxes on the casinos and other services that they were doing out there. And then New York State's like, no, you do owe us this, and the period ended a couple of years ago, so now you owe us this like back money type of thing. And then the very aggressive move of while it's being arbitrated, they're getting their bank to lock down their accounts is that's very aggressive to do when things are still being worked out.
That's the way it's done now. I mean we did the truckers up in Canada. They're talking the ESG scores, which you might say like, yeah, I'm a good person, I don't have to worry about that. But it's not just you; it's the companies that you do business through. It's all of these things. They're going to be very hesitant now to do business with you if you're not the right kind of person. And now all of a sudden I can't access my funds.
Yeah. Well, it's been like, so stuff like this has been going on for a while. Like it started going on with actually like sex workers too, like with like porn sites, the payment processors, the credit card companies would, if they would just stop processing payments for them. and say, nope, you're no longer, you're cut off from this system of collecting money, and banks would do something similar, even if what they're doing wasn't illegal. They're just like, oh, we don't want to do business with you, cut it off. And that's kind of their right as a company, but it is spooky that suddenly, like, this business model where you're expecting to be able to have people make transactions, all those transactions have to go through that third-party intermediary who can be pressured by the government or the public generally to suddenly say, hey, you know how you're getting all your money before? That stops today, right now.
So I think you nailed it. This is always the discussion. It's the same thing with Twitter and Elon Musk right now. Everybody was all, oh, Twitter's a private company. It can do what it wants. And then Elon Musk buys it. Wow, why is he? Wow. Now we're threatening. We won't have the right kind of speech on Twitter. Wait a minute. I thought you said they could do what they want. They're a private company. So you nailed it. Private companies can do what they want. But the point with this ESG stuff is it's not the private company that's making the call. It's the government that says, hey, use these guidelines or else. And what are the banks going to do?
Well, hey, actually, let's back up. Do you want to explain what the ESG thing is? Like, I know what it is. I know some listeners are going to be like, well, what the heck?
It's environmental, social, and I don't know what the G is. Godforsaken.
I'm not going to Google that right now. So.
Yeah, essentially, it's a score that the government has created a set of guidelines that in order to do business as a government bank, you must make sure that all of the people who transact business with your money align with these standards. And if you don't align with these standards, now you don't get to use this money. Now you don't have money. Now it's not a thing.
Governance was the other one. I did Google. I was like, no, I got to know. I need to know what it is. Governance is the other one.
Governance. So if you don't govern correctly, if they don't see, this is the thing. What does all of this mean? Environmental, social, and government. Okay. Who gets to choose what's right for the environment? Are chemical fertilizers right? Are petroleum right? Is like who's making these calls is what I have a problem with, because now it's just whatever the hot thing is. It's whatever the cool thing is. Well, we're worried about CRT now. We're worried about don't say gay. We're worried about all these things, which are hot topics for 5 months. But now you're going to probably alienate a whole segment of a bunch of people based on this thing that was a hot topic for 5 minutes. And then doesn't really have much of an effect on anything at all. But now I've got the label, so now I can't use my money.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, like, as that type of scoring, like, if by some, in theory, like, what would I call it? Like, neutral agency, like, oh, we're just evaluating the stuff. Like, how is it going to be used? Who's actually going to apply this? And what consequences are companies going to face for having a lower score? Again, is it the government not doing business with them? Is it banks not doing business with them? Is it just a public shaming thing? And then on the flip side too, is to get how are companies responding to like the various social pressures of different like laws that go on in the state? Again, did Disney make the right call, like with what's going on in Florida, right? Should they jump into this stuff? They have in the past. They've gotten some flack for it. But that's a decision that needs to be made everywhere now, because there's this national, quick, rapid pressure to make a statement, that to participate in the discussion around some of these bills. And sometimes they don't always get it right. Sometimes they do. Maybe they're doing the right thing, but sometimes they always they kind of fall to that immediate pressure of the mob without like, well, wait, let's take a step back and evaluate what's going on. Do we need to jump into this at all? Does anyone care?
The answer is no. If the question is, do we need to do this? The answer is no when it comes to the government. No, you do not need to do that. I can almost guarantee you 85, 95% of the time, the answer is no, you do not need to be involved in this.
Probably not. But politicians like to say they're doing something. So
yep. And people buy it. People like to know that they voted for the right guy. See, my guy's getting the results. And if I don't vote for the right guy the next time around, I'm going to get bad results. I'm literally going to die.
Yeah. No, that's You sound like you could write some campaign ads.
Yeah, that's all. Do you like life or do you like death? Vote for this guy. Like that. Again, these things they sound hyperbolic, but look at any of these campaign ads, and that's what it is. That's what it is. Your way of life is under threat. Donald Trump is the biggest threat to your life. Okay. If that's true, why? Why? I thought this was America. Why is that true? If one guy can be the biggest threat to my life, maybe we ought to rethink what we're doing with this system. Or maybe you're being a little bit, over the top with what you're telling me. Either way, maybe I should question it instead of just being like, oh yeah, I gotta vote for that guy.
No. Just do the scary voice. Donald Trump will ruin your life. But grainy black and white photos, Then, okay, yeah, vote for the other. Don't even worry about who the other guy is.
Paid for by the friends of so and so.
County legislature. Vote against Donald Trump in County Ledge Race 4.
Yeah, exactly. This county legislator doesn't even know Trump. Trump doesn't know this county legislator, but now it's a talking point. I can't. It boggles my mind. They're still scared of Trump. They're still scared of Trump.
All right, so thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. Kevin Wilson and Craig Wellens, we're going to be back in just a few minutes. Talk to you soon.
The WYSL store is now open. With nicer weather, your car needs an official Voice of Liberty bumper sticker. There's a great selection to help you show your love of God, the Constitution, and free and safe schools. Here are just a few available. Shut Up, Fauci, Kathy Hochul, Save America, Support the Second Amendment, Scam Alert, January 6th, God, Please Help Us, Close the Mexican Border, Save America, Stop Voting for Democrats. And there are gas pump stickers reading, Democrats did this. These are standard weather-resistant bumper stickers guaranteed to get you horn honks and thumbs up in traffic. Choose from other locally made WYSL Voice of Liberty merch too, like tees, hoodies, drinkware, and more. Perfect gifts for any Liberty lover. Check out the exclusive WYSL Mount Worstmore shirts, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting our 4 worst presidents. Guess who's front and center? Shop the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
There's a place in the village of Avon you and your critters will love. Whether they're big or small, whether they've got hair, fur, or feathers, Avon Feed fits every need. There's a full selection of pet foods, bird feeders, and wild bird food, plus garden tools, quality grass seed, and a great selection of dry shod boots. Buy 10 bags of quality wild bird food, get the next bag free. Choose farm feeds and great equine products from Poland Grains. Find everything for your pet from feeding bowls to toys, leads, collars, beds, crates, and tie-outs. Avon Feed and Supply has what the big pet chain stores will never have: Tim Cole and his great knowledgeable staff. Choose from premium local products like Firefly, dairy, goat soaps, and lotions. While you're at Avon Feed, don't forget your 2-legged pets with River at Thousand Island cheese and great flavors, including the new 12-year-old cheddar, plus Chef James bourbon meat sauce, once again nut butters and Nunday mustards. Open weekdays 9 to 6, Saturday 9 to 4. Avon Feed and Supply, West Main Street at the bottom of the hill, just west of the Circle.
A free solution.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson today, joined by Craig Miles, who is we're talking about all sorts of issues today. We talked about ESG scores. We talked about the redistricting process, all this stuff. Again, if you're listening out there on the live show until 1 p.m., give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. If you want to weigh in on any of this stuff. Again, we're covering a whole bunch of topics today. If we missed something, let us know. And do we want to talk about the New York State budget or lack of New York State budget? I don't know. I don't know if like that's something that animates anyone. Like part of me is like, well, just I don't know. I don't have high expectations for our state government to jump in and do effective governance. It's already going to be late. They've extended it. State employees might get a delay in their paychecks, all that stuff, all that's happening. And we may spend billions more and more.
I mean, that sounds like
can we do something about that, or just existential dread? Is it what's the solution to this moment?
Yeah, it just sounds like par for the course to me, honestly. This is how the New York State government works. And again, it doesn't actually affect anyone that's making the decisions. It doesn't affect them at all. And that's the biggest problem with government is none of the people calling his shots, none of the people making the decisions are actually affected by any of the decisions they make because they are insulated from it or they're immune from it. Because if it's a law or if it's something else, they'll just do what they want. And if it conflicts with the law, well, you got to find a court or someone that's going to go after them. And is that going to happen if I'm friends with everybody? Probably not.
Very rarely. It does happen every once in a while. You know,
yeah, and that's only because it's a hit job. It's literally the mob. It's literally the mob. You're all in it, and then until you're not anymore. And you just gotta hope that you're not the guy that gets targeted.
Well, I mean, let's say even Andrew Cuomo got canceled. You know, they went after him and decided it was his time to go. But like we do see it occasionally. It does rise to the level of getting enough people mad that it starts to maybe seem like the folks who are supposed to hold folks like former Governor Cuomo accountable might actually get held accountable themselves. So every once in a while, they're subject to public pressure.
Yes. And Cuomo still rolled with it and still has a massive base of support. Massive. People they've excused him for so much, and they would vote for him again.
Yeah, I've seen some of the polling. It's bizarre. Like, I'm like, why do so many people still like this guy? I don't get it. If you're a Democrat, like, what's the appeal to you of the way he governs on top of like the way he's acted in his private life?
So he was good. He was good at getting on the television and saying things, and then doing things that had nothing to do with the things that he said, and only benefiting himself as he was saying things on television. And the things didn't even have to make sense, and he could contradict himself in the next sentence. And people said, yes, they clapped for him, and he made things sound good. And that's why people liked him, because they felt like he was a leader. They felt like he was a king. They felt like he was doing good things. And they didn't listen to the contents of it. They just liked the way it was delivered.
So that's most of leadership, then, right? Just get in front of the camera and the microphones and like looking decisive. That's what you got to do. Just empty statements. Just deliver in the right cadence and say, "Hey, we are taking action today," which is what he did during the coronavirus stuff. Got on TV, got his press conferences. Gosh, we're coming up on like the 2-year anniversary of the invention of the term Cuomo-sexual, which still fills me with so much cringe. It's
all of it. We've created cults of personality, like the Fauci ouchie, right? Anthony Fauci is king, and it boggles my mind because I've never, I shouldn't say never. I feel like when I was a Republican, I had a tendency to idolize people. No, that's not even true. I've never idolized a public figure ever. I don't get it. Why?
Say yourself like I would do that. You know, I'd be like, again, people that like even if they have some good points, do stuff like I'd idolize people like Ron Paul. I'm like, Ron Paul, he's great, he's perfect. He's not perfect. There are a bunch of things I disagree with him now, and things that like I wish he didn't do. And same with any politicians. They're all human. Don't put them up on a pedestal. They're not gods. They're not kings. They're people who, have their own flaws and fallacies and vices. And that's precisely why understanding the humanness of politicians is precisely why we need to limit their power.
Yeah. So when I say idolize, I mean it in that sense. Like these people have become godlike. And I've never viewed anybody that way. I have a lot. Again, yeah, Ron Paul, amazing person, amazing human being, and he surprises me still because I separate the humanity from the whatever, right? Like you like the person as a person. You like the way that they do it. The same thing with the Levi lady. I used to wear exclusively Levi's, and then they took a stance on gun control, and I said no more Levi's for me. And then she said no vaccines for me. And Levi's said, okay, you got to go. Here's a bunch of money. Just be quiet and leave. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to speak out and tell everyone you're a bunch of, not nice people. And I respected that.
I didn't even know about any of this, the Levi stuff. I must have missed that.
You missed this? This was a big deal for like a week.
So I don't always catch the story of the week. No.
And that's my point too.
I don't know, like Democrats and Republicans, they get outraged about stuff, and sometimes like, oh, okay, is this real or noise? Whatever. I'm gonna go hang out with my kid.
That's my point too. Yes, this was a big deal. This was a gigantic deal for a week.
This up.
And then it was on to the next thing. And oh, it's exhausting because it's like you just saw something come and go. The Ukraine deal. Like COVID was the big thing for 2 years. You will not believe how many Ukraine flags, how many Ukraine stickers, how many Ukraine hearts, how many of those I see in my day to day. And it's only been going on for a month. It's the hot new thing.
This thing, people are concerned. Again, there's really war going on. There's stuff going on, right? And but like what actually bugs me about like that type of stuff is like it's just kind of proving that tribal loyalty. It's not like diving deep into the issues of like what's going on in here in this moment and like what are the solutions to this. It's like I want to show that I'm on my tribe's side, and that's what I'm gonna put out. And it's so easy, it's so cheap. You can just put this out there and not take any action. There are folks who are really going and trying to help people in Ukraine and doing the right thing and supporting them in a real way. But putting a little thing on your profile, it doesn't matter. It's virtue signaling. It's empty, and just getting outraged about whatever the story is of the week. Okay, cool. Like, what you get in that Levi story? Like, what were the actual social and policy and corporate culture implications of removing a CEO for those reasons?
Yeah, so I guess that's kind of where I'm getting at with the idolization and then also the putting stuff on your stuff. It takes me a lot to put stuff on myself or on my water bottle or whatever. I got to know what I'm talking about a little bit before I feel like I can throw that up there. And I think you're 100% correct where it becomes the cool thing to do. And if you were to ask people, again, I haven't done this because I don't want to, honestly. Like, I don't want to have this discussion. And maybe that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. I think, Craig, you're going to be on tomorrow, subbing in for Tim. And then me and Tim will be on Friday. Talk to you then. Have a wonderful day.
Next to life itself, time is